So far away, Lucas, are you ready to talk about Lady Thor?
Mighty Thor. Hell yeah.
So we should clarify that while we are aware Thor Love and Thunder has been announced and that there has been a teaser trailer, we're not familiar with anything in it because we're trying to go in blind. But we thought, let's use it as an opportunity to talk about Jane Foster Thor. And that's what I thought anyway, because when I scrolled down, I realised Jane Foster in the comics is now Valkyrie. So the comics are ahead of the films.
Oh.
And another thing I want to say is that today's video is sponsored by me. Specifically, the merch store I set up where you can buy dumb little art designs I have paid for over the years in collaboration with Psycho. And apparently I always pronounce this word wrong. Apparel. Apparel? Apparel? Apparel, that's it, apparel. I always say apparel because that's how I read it. And then I heard it said out loud and I was like, wait, that's not how you say it. And I want to apologise to the guys from Psycho. I've been pronouncing your company name wrong in every sponsored video.
Oh, no.
Apparel, I think it is. I say apparel because it has two P's.
Oh, God, yeah, I've just been following whatever you've been saying, like, yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry. Either way, I'm really sorry, guys. You made a sick design for like the fact that they got my name right and I got theirs wrong. I'm very sorry. Anyway, Lucas, what do you know, though, about Jane Foster from the comic books?
Well, I mean, not too much, but I know, like, she became Mighty Thor in the end.
Which is Valkyrie now. What about in the Marvel continuity, like the MCU?
She's fine.
I don't know how I feel about like Jane Foster in the film. She's kind of there to the point where like she gets written out of the movies after like Thor 2, and they explain away her absence with just a throwaway gag where like a lady just says to Thor on the street, "I'm really sorry to hear that Foster broke up with you." And he's like, eh. Yeah. Also, it sounds like Thor's in the building right now because they're doing building work next door.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, but Lucas, are you ready for some band names?
Hell, goddamn, yes.
I'm worried about how much that's turning up. So sorry, folks at home. Hopefully they're like. So we have. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Lucas. She doesn't really have any. She has a few editorial names. You have the Goddess of Thunder, the Mighty Thor, Valkyrie, and Jane Foster. And then her nicknames are Thunderpants and Thor Eater.
Mighty Thor, though.
And the reason I like the Mighty Thor name is, one, because it annoyed all those like weird baby men online who are like, that can't be Thor, even though that is the canon of how Thor's powers work. Because if you remember, folks at home, what does Odin say when he's imbuing Mjolnir with the power?
I can't remember the exact line, but it's like, whoever has the hammer shall inherit the powers of Thor.
Yes. The powers of Thor are contained within the hammer, and anyone who is worthy can wield the powers of Thor. So, for example, when Steve Rogers picks up Mjolnir, he is, for all intents and purposes, in that moment, Thor, because he's wielding Thor's power.
Yeah.
And it's the same is true of Jane Foster. She is Thor. Like, she's not Jane Foster, she's not Thor girl, she's not Thor lad. She is Thor because she's wielding the power of that god.
Yeah, of course.
And even another thing is like Mighty Thor. And that's one of the few things that I dislike about the newer version, like the Chris Hemsworth take on Thor. I love those movies, like the tone is much better suited to Chris Hemsworth acting style, but I miss that he talks like he was in Shakespeare.
I mean, yeah, I miss that bit about it, I guess. I hate the people that like, oh, let's go back to the good old days of like Thor 2 being the best Thor movie. It's like, come on, stop.
We just said the best moments of Thor 1 and 2 are Chris Hemsworth not acting like Thor. They were him just being himself, and that's what the character of Thor has become. And the reason I like that flowery way of speaking is because he's a sentient being who's lived for thousands of years. Of course he's going to take his time doing everything, and I think Loki keeps that.
A little bit, yeah.
But Thor doesn't, and that's what makes the characters kind of weird in those later movies, where you've still got Loki acting like Loki from the first movie, making those big dramatic speeches, and he's being all like, theatrical,
yeah.
But then Thor's just like, bro. He's just Chris Hemsworth. Lucas, would you like to go through right now the powers and abilities of Jane Foster as Valkyrie, not as Thor? Because as Thor, it's listed as her former powers, and if you want to cover the powers of Thor, we've done a video on that you can find below. But specifically her powers as Valkyrie, what's that?
You missed it. It's Thorma powers.
Oh, I missed it, no! Oh, video's ruined. Oh, but her powers and abilities, it says here that the spirit of Brunhilde transformed Jane into Valkyrie, giving her the following traits. Let's give it a sec. This is going to be really weird if this doesn't pick up on mic. It's just me stopping every few seconds, just looking into the middle distance. There we go. I wonder what the fuck you're doing as well. If they come through my wall midway through recording, that's the last video we ever do, because it'll never be like we'll never be able to top that level of green screen effect. So it says here that as Valkyrie, she has Asgardian physiology and possesses the various superhuman attributes common among Asgardians, such as superhuman strength, speed, vision, and this is one unique to her as a Valkyrie, death perception, not depth perception. Because if I say that with my accent, I'm going, wait a minute, do Asgardians need glasses? No, she can see the concept of death.
That's cool.
And that's a nod to the Valkyries' role in mythology of guiding people to the afterlife. And it doesn't say here, though, that they can absolutely kick the fuck out of Kratos. They are the hardest fight in all of God of War. And I'm unsure how they're going to top fighting Sigrun. The Valkyrie Queen is just an absolute monster in that game. And I think Freya said that she was the queen of the Valkyries before Sigrun, and she's regaining her fighting prowess. And so you're going to fight her, but just like, that fight against Sigrun, it's like, okay, some of the Valkyries they're all right. And then you go to like Niflheim, and it's like, oh, there's just poison gas everywhere. And you think, well, what can the Queen of the Valkyries possibly do to be worse than this? Oh, she has every single move of all the Valkyries, but faster with super armor and 5 times as much health. And that's one of the things that it's the shame about the MCU. They don't really show the Valkyries doing all that much. Yeah. So they have that one shot in Thor 3. Do you know, like the trailer shot of like the army of Valkyries versus Hela? Oh
yeah, it looks super cool.
And do you ever see how they made that shot? Because they created a unique lighting rig for that moment. It's like they lit it in a way that had never been lit before, and they shot it at like 1 million frames a second, so it went in like super slow-mo. And like apparently like Zack Snyder was just creaming in his pants when he heard about it. But they filmed that entire shot, this massive rig set up for 1 second, and I can only feel that they did that for the trailer.
Yeah.
Because it has no relevance to the plot. It's the shot that exists for the trailer.
Did they get actual Pegasi in though? That's the question.
I don't know. I think they just glue some wings to some horses. We've actually stopped and thought about all these mythological creatures that so outlandish they could never. It's like a unicorn is like the example of like this mythical creature that can never exist. And you think like, how weird is a unicorn compared to like a giraffe?
Yeah.
Compare the idea of a unicorn.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, like compare we go back many years and you say, oh, those idiots believing in unicorns. Imagine if you went back in the Middle Ages and told me about a giraffe. He's like 45 foot tall, and he's got his long ass neck, and they slap them together and make the best noise ever. It's like the boom.
Yeah.
And then you go back and it's like a horse with a horn. Well, of course that exists. And sadly, that's all we can really talk about in regards to the powers and abilities of Jane Foster Valkyrie, because they don't seem to have done all that much within the comics so far. But we say her abilities are nursing skills, and it says here, citation needed, even though her name is Dr. Jane Foster. And then we say here that her equipment, and this is a great one, and I hope I don't mispronounce this, Undrjarn The All-Weapon, a vambrace created from the remnants of Mjolnir from an alternate dimension. It has the ability to change into any weapon its wielder desires.
Oh, sure, it's a Green Lantern then.
Oh man, I hope one day we get a good Green Lantern movie or something. That'd be nice.
I just wish he made some more interesting things than just basic shit.
Or just make a giant fist. Well, this ring can create anything the wearer desires. Giant fist! It's on Bayonetta now, fuck you.
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing they do in that Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds is when he's stuck in space trying to fight the Parallax Cloud, and he just creates 2 jets to keep him in orbit. And I thought it was a really neat idea, because he's a pilot, that's the thing he can think of best. And they didn't, and then he makes the race course?
Yes, yeah.
When the helicopter, and that's really interesting, and the rest of the movie is just gone.
Yeah.
We're never going to get his back throw from Injustice 2, are we, where he makes a brick wall out of Green Lantern bricks just to kick you through it. It's like, oh, where's that shit?
He should just be making giant fists come out of portals, though, shouldn't he?
Oh, he'd be like Bayonetta. Can we just say, though, one of the best things in Bayonetta 2 is when you get the new move of Madama Butterfly coming in for the nut.
Oh, God.
Where it's just Madama Butterfly comes in from an alternate dimension to deliver a headbutt and then disappears fuck you.
Or when she's got the Princess Peach outfit on, and then all of the punches and stuff just become the giant Bowser fists coming out at you.
Coming out from the other dimension of it's coming from Smash Bros. Giga Bowser's coming from Melee. Doing you a favour. So do you know what? Now I think about it, yeah. If they want to do a Green Lantern movie, just rip off Bayonetta.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Realistically, you can replicate all of Bayonetta's abilities with Green Lantern's rings, and it'd be perfectly fine. Do that. That's a free idea, Hollywood. Steal it.
Can't wait for Hal Jordan with torture devices.
That's what, who's it now? Sinestro, that's what he does. He's the fear lantern.
Oh.
He creates alien torture weapons to inspire more fear.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, do you know what? If you make a Green Lantern movie, Hollywood, I know we're talking about Marvel now, but if you make a Green Lantern movie, make it like the fight between Bayonetta and John in Bayonetta 2, and have the final bit be, like, do you know that fist fight between Madama Butterfly, where Bayonetta's, like, doing, like, the combos with it. Make that the Green Lantern movie. That'd be great. I'm actually annoyed now that that's not a thing, because that sounds so good in my head.
That would be really cool.
Bayonetta, Green Lantern, man. That'd be great. Fuck. That'd be such a good... Oh, god damn it, we're never going to get it.